What's going on, everybody? Jolt here from the TokenMinorities, and today I am bringing you the NPL playoffs, at least my first round in the NPL playoffs. This is considered round 2, as round 1 was the wildcard round, which, as you can see down here, was between the Portland Timbers and the Los Angeles Nido-Kings, with the Los Angeles Nido-Kings coached by Danza moving on to round 2 to play the number 1 overall seed, the Detroit Gale Wings, and then the 2 and 3 seeds are myself, the Toronto Staraptors at 11-3 and a plus 43 differential against my friend Trev the King, or Trevenant Forest, who also has an 11-3 record and a plus 35 differential. So it's going to be fun. This is one of the teams that we lost to during the regular season, and for that I totally blame myself, as that was the game where I miscounted the turns that Encore lasts, and as a result I lost 2 mons to Charizard X and then ended up losing to the bulk of his team. So this week, it's time to get our revenge, as I know I can beat his team. I know it. He's a very good player, but I'm a good player too. So we're going to try our hardest this week and hopefully come out on top and take one step closer toward the NPL Championship of Season 2. So let's go ahead and take a look at his team for a brief refresher, and actually he has some mons that are a little bit different this week than he had the last time we played him. He has Mega Charizard X, which was an MVP candidate this season with what we got, 17 kills and 5 deaths, which is really good. And then he has Cresselia, which also has 17 kills and 5 deaths. He has Nidoking, Alamomola, Registeel, Umbreon, and Aromatisse, which all have been staples of his team throughout the season, particularly that Nidoking, which got a lot of kills early in the season. And then he has some new acquisitions in the Hitmonlee, the Kingdra, Kabutops, and Porygon Z. So he has some threatening mons. He definitely has the potential to bring rain in our matchup, but I really don't anticipate him doing that, simply due to the fact that I have potentially the best rain stopper there is in Mega Venusaur, and I do kind of anticipate him bringing potentially the Kingdra, potentially the Porygon Z, as those are both very good wall breakers if played properly. And as you guys know who have been following me throughout the season, my team is very stout, it's very wally, it's very annoying, and I really anticipate that he will bring mons to break through my walls. The catch here, though, is that in my first matchup against him, I played offense, and I don't play offense very often, so part of the reason why I brought offense in my first matchup with him is because I didn't want him to have a taste of what my true style is in the NPL, because I know he's a good player. Like, he's very, very good. I don't want to give him unnecessary information. So the plan this week is to bring my style, bring what I'm most comfortable with, and try to counter his entire team like I have all season. My building has been good this season, I believe, and I think I can replicate that in round 2 of the playoffs. So what am I bringing this week? Well, let's go ahead and pull that up. Alright, so looking at his team, the biggest threats to mine are the Mega Charizard X, the Nidoking, and the Porygon Z. So those 3 mons are the ones that I need to prepare for the most carefully. So starting with Mega Charizard X, I really have a few options that I can work with on my team to deal with that, and those are the Gliscor, the Wobbuffet, and then a collection of offensive mons. So I decided this time around, because the Wobbuffet idea didn't really fare too well for me last time, and also because using Wobbuffet against a powerful setup sweeper like Mega Charizard X is really risky. I decided to go the Gliscor route this time. Now, Gliscor isn't a fantastic stop to Mega Charizard X, I'll be honest, especially in the NPL format, as Mega Charizard X could very easily run something like Hidden Power Ice and do a truckload of damage to me, but I'm going to try to make do with Gliscor and then the collective effort of the rest of my team to try to deal with Mega Charizard X, and I'll kind of explain that as I go along. But Mega Charizard X is the biggest threat to my team, and if I am able to take out Mega Charizard X early in the game, then a lot of my other mons become pretty strong win conditions as well. So that's kind of the goal, take out Mega Charizard X as early as possible, and we'll kind of go from there. But as you can see, I am running nearly a full defensive Gliscor with a little bit of investment in special defense, moves, such that I can take the Hidden Power Ice from Mega Charizard X a little bit better, as well as maybe other rogue Hidden Power Ices or from his other mons. So that's kind of the idea with this, and this is going to be my Stealth Rock user as well. Now I am bringing Mega Venusaur full Spadef, just like I did last time I played him, as this is my only answer to Nidoking, to be honest, to a special attacking Nidoking, that is. If he decides to bring a physically attacking Nidoking, then I actually have a lot of options, so I would definitely... I'd be okay with this if he decides to bring a physically attacking Nidoking, and actually this Spadef Venusaur would still work very well against a physical attacking Nidoking, so I'm not really worried about that too much, but Mega Venusaur is the stop to that. As long as I can keep this healthy, I am in very good shape for this game. So yeah, moving on to the next mon, which is going to be my gimmick of the week. That is the Tornadus Therian with a very interesting set. Now this set looks like it would probably never work. I know, I have Taunt and I have Lumberry and I have Bulk Up, which is something you just don't see on Tornadus Therian. But the thing is, if you look through his team, and if you consider what the standard Tornadus Therian set is, with like Hurricane, U-Turn, Knockoff, etc., what are his switch-ins? His switch-ins could be Registeel, his switch-in could be Cresselia, it could be Umbreon, it could be Aromatisse. It's all stuff that, quite frankly, can't hit me very hard. So I'm going to take advantage of that, as that's probably going to be his strategy against Tornadus. It might even be a Spadef Alomomola, I don't know. His strategy is going to be to wall me, because he has nothing that can outspeed me without a Choice Scarf. So my plan is to abuse his fat mons and set up on them with my Tornadus Therian. I'm going to have a Lumberry, such that when that Lumberry is consumed, and I know it will be, as his team is going to reek of Toxics, Thunder Waves, crap like that, and he's going to activate that Lumberry, making my Acrobatics stronger, and then I can, of course, Bulk Up on the turn of the status move. I can Taunt him after that, get another Bulk Up after that, and Tornadus Therian is going to be quite the large threat to his slow team. So that's the idea with this, and I'm thinking this is going to be a huge win condition in this game. Crossing my fingers for that anyways, because it's going to be a tough match, like I said before. Moving on to the next mon. This is going to be my Safety Valve mon, slash my Panic Button mon, slash the mon that's going to save my butt against Mega Charizard X potentially, and that is a Focus Sashed Foul Play Alakazam with Focus Blast, Psychic, and Shadow Ball. So the special attacking moves have very good coverage against his entire team, and Foul Play, of course, is there for an excessive abuse of Mega Charizard X, or potentially Kingdra if it's a Dragon Dance set and I let it get out of hand, that kind of thing. Alakazam is going to be there to save my butt. And then I'm bringing in Volcarona again, as Volcarona has a very good matchup against his entire team, especially when I carry Hidden Power Rock. The thing with this that I need to keep an eye on is the potential for Alomomola to have a Mirror Coat, and the potential for many of his mons to carry Hidden Power Rock against me. And I'm bringing in Charty Berry because of that. Charty Berry is the berry that reduces the power of super effective rock-type moves, and because I am anticipating in bringing Hidden Power Rock, maybe even Rock Slide on Nidoking, maybe even Rock Slide on Mega Charizard X, I think this Charty Berry can definitely come in handy, and Volcarona can sweep his entire team, because I don't anticipate him bringing his Kabutops, which would have Aqua Jet priority. And outside of that, he doesn't have any very powerful priority moves that would hit this Volcarona. And if I get to +1, maybe even +2, he is done. So hopefully Volcarona will put in a lot of work in this game. And then finally, I am bringing a Mixed Defenses Calm Empoleon with Defog. In case he brings hazards, I actually kind of anticipate him not bringing hazards. And if he does, it's going to be on the Nidoking, which is fine. But regardless, I'm bringing Scald, Grass Knot, and Flash Cannon. Now this Empoleon is EV'd such that I can take a unboosted Flare Blitz and unboosted Flare Blitz from the Mega Charizard X and be guaranteed to survive in Torrent range, and put in a crap ton of damage against the Mega Charizard X with a Scald. So Empoleon is going to be one of my stops, one of my potential hopeful stops to Mega Charizard X, and the combination of Grass Knot and Flash Cannon hit the rest of his team with pretty good coverage. So that's the team, and I'm confident going into this battle. I definitely am. But I'm also a little bit nervous, as this is the playoffs, and of course, like I've said, Trev is very good. So let's go ahead and jump into this. This is on Wi-Fi, and stay tuned. Alright, so a team preview, I'm not terribly surprised by what he brought with the exception of Kabutops, as I knew he needed a spinner, but I also realized that Kabutops' matchup against my team really isn't that good, particularly if I brought a defensive Mega Venusaur or maybe a defensive Empoleon, but he did bring it and now I have to deal with it, and that's actually going to be a little bit of an issue potentially, as he does have a way of getting rid of my rocks now, and that's not exactly good considering I need rocks on the field to handle the majority of his team with ease. As for my win conditions, it very clearly is going to be Tornadus T and Alakazam in this game that are going to have to win it for me. I hope I can pull off a sweep with Volcarona as well, but he does have priority Aqua Jet now in his Kabutops, so that threat really is diminished for him, especially if he can get rocks up on the field, as really because he has Porygon Z, I need to keep Empoleon as healthy as possible, and that's going to be kind of hard considering it still takes a lot of damage from Porygon Z, and that means it's going to be hard for me to get off Defogs and etc. So the team matchup is pretty interesting. I'd say it's quite honestly 50-50 with the exception of the fact that he has Charizard X, which we all know my team is really bad against. So let's go ahead and jump into the battle. I decided to lead off with my Tornadus Therian, as it does have a pretty good matchup against his entire team, and because I have Taunt, I'm going to be able to keep rocks off the field if he chooses to lead with Registeel. And one more note, he did not bring Nidoking in this matchup, so Venusaur's role in this game is actually very interesting, as now I don't really know what I'm going to be using Venusaur for. I guess it's going to be primarily a switch in to the Kabutops and potentially going to be able to take an attack from Porygon Z or something. I don't know, but I'm actually a little bit upset that he didn't bring Nidoking because I did prepare so heavily for that. I am able to switch into my Gliscor here on the Registeel after I taunt it with my Tornadus Therian, preventing the Thunder Wave, and this is going to get up my Toxic Orb, which is really nice because now I don't have to fear Will-O-Wisp from his Charizard X later on. He does go into his Porygon Z here, which is fine. It's an immediate threat to my team, but I am able to get up my rocks, which is of course very, very good because it does pressure him, especially with his Mega Charizard X not Mega Evolved yet. Now here I have no idea what kind of set he is, but I know my only switch in is Empoleon. I don't really have an option at this point. I could have gone Venusaur, I suppose, but this was my best play considering his best play was to just go for a Tri-Attack, particularly if he was a choiced variant, and that damage tells me that he is absolutely a choice Specs Porygon Z, which is a big threat. So now I'm going to have to play very carefully around that thing and maybe make some aggressive doubles to prevent it from being too much of an issue. But here I'm just going to go for the Scald, knowing that he's going to switch out, and also knowing that regardless of what he goes into, it can be burned or take a lot of damage from Scald. So Scald is my best play, and I am able to hit the Registeel on the switch in, which is nice because I do get the burn on the first turn, so that's beautiful. Registeel is not going to be able to survive as long as it could have otherwise, but here this is going to give him the opportunity to put up his Stealth Rock, which is pretty unfortunate for me again because I am trying to pull off a sweep with Volcarona in the end potentially, or maybe even Tornadus Therian, both of which do not appreciate Stealth Rocks whatsoever, but I am going to go into my Tornadus here, kind of hoping he goes for anything but the Stealth Rock because I do have the Lumberry here, but this is going to give me an opportunity because he did go for Stealth Rock to go ahead and try to set up and break through his team a little bit. So I'm going to anticipate his Thunder Wave here, and I'm just going to go straight for the Bulk Up as I do have the Lumberry, and I'm going to be able to shrug the Thunder Wave right off and really not care because after a +1 I am able to KO Registeel from this range with Superpower, and he has to know this. He must know that I'm running a plus attack or plus special attack nature rather than a plus speed nature, just due to the fact that his team is so slow, and I am in fact running an Adamant Tornadus Therian here. So knowing that he's going to be scared out by the Superpower, I'm still going to go for the Taunt, and this might have been a misplay on my part, but I thought it was the best play just because I wanted to ensure that my Tornadus was not going to be Thunder Waved by the Registeel, and I didn't actually run the Calc on Superpower at that range, but I think my best play was actually just to go for Superpower there. But regardless, I do just go for the Taunt, and that hits the Alomola, which is nice because it's not able to set up a Wish and pass it, but it's also bad because now he's forced to use Scald, and I don't have my Lumberry anymore, so now I have to risk that he's going to burn me, and I am at the point now where I really don't want to switch out Tornadus Therian because I don't want anything else on my team getting burned, particularly Empoleon, as that needs to be at pretty much maximum health to be of use in this game. However, I think my best play at this point would have actually been to go into my Mega Venusaur and get off the Mega Evolution, but the problem with that is that I was terrified of the Mega Charizard X because, like I said, I really don't have much for Mega Charizard X. It even 2-hit KOs a Gliscor at full health. which is ridiculous, with Flare Blitz, of course, which is just absolutely insane. But here I go for the Acrobatics, which was not the right play again. I definitely knew he was going to switch. Acrobatics was just not a good idea because he did have Kabutops. It does have access to weak armor, and whenever I hit it with an Acrobatics and it survives, it becomes an immediate threat because of its speed increase. And now I am forced to go into my Poleon, which is bad because this is putting really my only answer to Porygon Z in danger of becoming low on health. And as you can see, this Stone Edge does a heck of a lot of damage, and he reveals the Life Orb here, which is scary. Again, it's fast, it's strong, it can use Rapid Spin. I don't know when he's going to use Rapid Spin though, and I really don't want to stick around to find out if this thing has superpower here, perhaps in its last move slot. And it turns out that he just goes for a Waterfall on this turn, which is a play I do not agree with whatsoever. He should have just gone for the Stone Edge again, or gone straight for the Rapid Spin here, but he goes for the Waterfall, really don't know why, and he hits my Venusaur on this switch. Now here, my best play was just to go for the Giga Drain here and get off my Mega Evolution, knowing that I actually can survive a Stone Edge, even Life Orb boosted from an Adamant Kabutops at that range, bar critical hits. But he does just go for the Rapid Spin here as I switch into my Empoleon, which again was just a really bad play because I could have just had the Mega Evolution right there, giving me a lot more bulk, and I would have been able to take out the Kabutops right there, and thus would have been in a much better situation with my Empoleon being at higher health to take hits from the Porygon Z. But here I am just going to hope that he doesn't kill himself with the Life Orb recoil and try to go for the Defog, such that we are at least on an even playing field in the Hazards game. But he does go down to the Life Orb, which is both good and bad, as Kabutops is out of the way, but really more bad than good because I am not able to get off the Defog. He is now at a huge advantage considering my best win conditions are both weak to Stealth Rock. But here he goes into his Porygon Z, knowing that my best answer to it is sufficiently weakened. He's just going to take me out with a Specs Tri-Attack, and we are now at a 5-5 score, and really looking kind of not good for me right now at all. But I do go into my Tornadus T, knowing that it is my best win condition. It is still very much so a possible win condition, and I am going to scare out the Porygon Z, knowing that it is Specs and going to be slower than me as he goes into his Charizard, which was a good play on his part, predicting the superpower, and that's going to do really pitiful damage, and I'm going to have a drop in my defense, meaning that I will feint to any attack he wants to throw at me, and because of that I'm going to get the heck out of there and go into my Gliscor, which again was not the best play on my part. I probably should have sacked something here because Gliscor did put in a lot of work against his team, particularly with Toxic being able to cripple Cresselia and with Earthquake being able to hit really the rest of his team for really solid damage. But I take this Flare Blitz. I mean, I don't take this Flare Blitz. I go down to 57 HP. That's like 65% damage from a Mega Charizard X on a fully invested physical wall with really a high base defense. Goodness, Charizard X slowed down. I'm going to make the aggressive double into my Alakazam, predicting the Dragon Dance, and here he reveals a Swords Dance. So that's even more scary, but the good news is this is a foul play Alakazam, and if he did get carried away with Swords Dances, I could easily take him out with a foul play later on. But the switch into Cresselia is very obvious to me, so I'm just going to go for the Shadow Ball and get, I don't get the special defense drop, I get that later on. But he takes that rather well, but it does reveal to me that this is going to be a Cresselia that is max HP but not at all invested in special defense, and this will come into play later, as now I'm going to go into my Gliscor, and he makes a really nice play here and just goes for the Ice Beam, trying to break my Focus Sash. I was expecting more of a Moonlight or perhaps even a Calm Mind, but he makes a very, very good play. I tried to make an aggressive switch into Gliscor and it did not work out as planned. So now I'm in quite a pickle, as now I'm just going to go straight into my Volcarona, and here's the thing. If he is a max HP, max special attack Cresselia, he has a 50% chance to KO my Volcarona with Psyshock here. Or if he has HP Rock, I do have the Rock resisting Berry and I would have actually lived easily. He has Psyshock and he gets the roll. So I am now in an even worse situation. I lost my Volcarona without doing any damage to it whatsoever. It was my #1 win condition in this game, or at least in the team building process I thought it was going to be. Turns out Tornadus T actually is. But regardless, I lose my Volcarona without doing any damage to his Cresselia, which is really bad. So now I have to go to my Alakazam and hope I can take this thing out. What I should have done with Volcarona is not risk the roll, I guess, but if I had gotten the Quiver Dance up and if I had lived the Psyshock, I actually think I won the game right there, as he had nothing left to outspeed me. I had Hidden Power Rock for the Charizard, and he had nothing that could take the hits at that point. But unfortunately, that's not how it goes, and I'm in a pretty terrible situation right now, as he goes into his Registeel to absorb the next Shadow Ball from my Alakazam, and because the Registeel is burned, I do think a Focus Blast can take it out from this range, but I'm not going to risk it because I know my luck with Focus Miss, and I have a feeling I'm going to miss it on this turn. So what I'm going to do here is just go ahead and switch out into my Mega Venusaur, as he goes for the Thunder Wave, I believe, which is again a very nice play, as now my Mega Venusaur is even less of a threat, even if it was already pretty worthless in this game, at least how I was playing it. I don't think I played well with Mega Venusaur in this game at all, but it still didn't feel like it had a great matchup, because it felt like every time I brought it in, it was just bait for his Mega Charizard X to come in, which, because it has SD, can actually blow through my entire team with no trouble. I can only check it, I cannot counter it. So here he is switching to his Alomomola, which again is an interesting play, but I think he did this half expecting me to not attack him, and half expecting half wanting to just get the regenerator recovery rather. And I pull the aggressive double into my Alakazam, expecting him to go into his Charizard. Unfortunately, he does not do that, but this is still nice because this gives me an opportunity to potentially take out the Alomomola with the Psychic. I don't know its investment, but if it is max HP, it will pretty easily live the Psychic. But here's where I kind of regretted not having Energy Ball on my Alakazam, as I have Foul Play instead, and as a result, Psychic is my best option to hit the Alomomola, and he does carry Knockoff and is able to take out my Alakazam. So I lose my Alakazam at a time when I really didn't think I was going to. I thought his best move to hit me was going to be Scald, but unfortunately he did have Knockoff, which was great planning on his part, and props to him for that. He's able to live with about 5 to 10% HP, which is nice because now it is going to be immediately threatened by my Tornadus, and it's also kind of unfortunate because I wish he would have gone down to the Psychic there, but I am just going to go for the Acrobatics, not going to fool around with the Scald burn chance because he did miss 2 burns earlier on, and I am not going to risk the third one here. So here he makes an interesting play, and he baits my Superpower and sacks his Registeel, which I think was actually a pretty good play. And I'm kind of surprised I didn't see it coming, because he had already revealed that he was a Choice Specs variant. I had already scared him out with Tornadus T earlier in the game, but I feel like this was one of those plays that was more attributed to my nerves during the game, because let's be honest, I was nervous as heck during this game, and so was he. Like, this is actually a really big deal for those who are like deeply into GBA style formats. Like, the playoffs is what you play for. That's the reason you play in these leagues, and we were both really nervous during this game. And unfortunately it cost me there, and now I'm going to lose my Mega Venusaur to the Porygon Z because I am at -1 attack, my Tornadus T that is. I'm not going to be able to KO the Porygon Z with the Superpower, so I do have to sacrifice my Venusaur there and then go for the Superpower on the Porygon Z here. And he is going to be left now with his Mega Charizard X and with his Cresselia. Cresselia will faint to an Acrobatics at the range it is currently at, and Mega Charizard X can faint. And if I had Rocks up, oh my gosh, I would have been A-okay in this match. But Acrobatics is barely not going to be able to take him out. If I was at neutral, if I predicted his aggressive double from Porygon Z into Registeel to lower my attack, then I would have had a +1 bulk up. I would have been very able to take out the Mega Charizard X there, and I would have won the game at that point. But unfortunately, that's not what happens. I do lose to Trev 1-0. He had that Cresselia left with very little HP. I think like, what, 15-20%? I don't know. But congrats to Trev and the Atlanta Braviarys. They are moving on to the championship of the NPL, and they will be playing Danza and the Los Angeles Nidoking in the third match of the season, I believe. They played twice already in the regular season, so now they're going to have their third match, and Trev came out on top in both of those games. So we'll just kind of see what happens there. Thanks for watching, guys. I will leave a link in the description of this video that is linking you to the official NPL YouTube channel. The championship game between Trev and Danza will be posted on that channel. I believe that's the first video ever on that channel, so definitely take a look at that. I really don't care who wins. I'm rooting for both of them. They're both really cool people. Definitely check out their channels and show them some love in the championship, because I've already seen the game. They played a heck of a game. So thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for following me all season. I will probably post another video here in a little while that's kind of a a recap of the season and my thoughts on the season, what the plans are for next season, etc. So definitely stay tuned for that as well. If you are interested in perhaps trying out for the NPL next season, also leave a comment in this video, in the comments of this video rather, and I will respond accordingly to those who are interested. We are looking for 2 to 3 more coaches next season, in addition to some commentators potentially for our NPL channel for like weekly recaps and stuff like that, similar to what the GBA does, but we'll have our own twist on it as well. So thanks for watching, guys. I will see you next time.